Well, hello, hello, hello. If you've landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News, and I'm your host, Leticia Remauro. And I hope you landed on purpose, but if you landed by accident, stay a while. Subscribe to the channel, follow me on Facebook, um, be a part of the group, and make sure that you comment on what we talk about. Today, we're gonna talk about my least favorite day of the year, April 15th, which is the day taxes are due. Hopefully, everybody filed their taxes. Hopefully, um, they got a nice refunds. I did not, but I didn't expect it because I'm one of those that refuses to pay taxes throughout the year because I don't want the government playing with my money. So my tax bill at the end is always, I'm not going to say a problem, but I didn't mind paying it because I knew it was going to a good president and would hopefully be used correctly. But boy, I hated paying it under Biden, but I did. I did what I had to do. But I hope you got a big fat refund. I know lots of people who didn't expect refunds got refunds. But the interesting thing about today, tax day, is that apparently the average refund was, let's see if I've got this right, was about $3,600. So it was 11%. 11% higher than normal. So that was good, right? Anything more is better. But interestingly, NPR was reporting that the refunds so far are less than expected. And in this article from NPR, they interview a couple who got a $10,000 refund and said that they were disappointed in a $10,000 tax refund. What? What? I don't get it. I don't get it. So how much did they expect their refund was going to be? And the thing that's even more interesting to me is the fact that Democrats in Congress are complaining that the refunds were not as large as they wanted them to be. The Democrats that didn't vote for the one big beautiful bill. And in fact, if the one big beautiful bill had not passed, the refunds would have dwindled because our taxes were going up 22% because the Biden let the Trump tax cuts expire. And so we were due for a tax hike of 22%. It would have been the largest tax hike in the history of the United States. So really, really interesting. I'm gonna just quickly play you some conversation from Representative Smucker in Congress.
Remind folks that not one Democrat voted for this bill. I find it really interesting today. Democrats are complaining that the increase in refunds that we're seeing, I heard Ms. Sewell just say, averages about $350. They're complaining that it's not as high as maybe we think it is. But I want to remind folks that had they had their way, had we not passed this bill, the refunds would have been much, much less. Individuals, families would have seen a 22% increase if Democrats had accomplished what they wanted to accomplish in killing this bill, resulting in the largest increase in a tax increase in history. So tax refunds up nearly 9%, and your figures, I think, are showing around $3,800 as of on average as of last week.
All right, $3,800. But I understand from the head of the IRS that it was 11%, and was the increase. So I think that's pretty good. I think anytime the American people keep more of their money, it's good. I had a lot of things happen that was not great. So for me, there were more taxes than usual, but I expected it. I knew it. I did some things to help my grandson that caused me grief. But you do what you got to do when you're a grandparent. Hello, Francine. Good to have you here. Hello, Kevin Young. Good to have you. Angela Ricca is with us. Aloha, Santillian. I thought you weren't here today. Oh, maybe it's tomorrow, Thursdays. Clean up our alleyway of rubbish with my neighbors. We were jamming some Eagles on the speaker. Oh, cool. I love the Eagles. Same here. Okay. Maybe next year. Yeah, maybe next year. So, but like I said, I didn't mind writing the check so much because I knew that it was going to be used well. So, hello, Karen. Good to have you. How are you, Gloria? Hell, I got 2,400 and was happy to have something to have in case of an emergency. Well, there you go. Hi, Maisie. How are you? Hello. Have a great day. Oh, thank you, Jeff. Hi, Andrew Dorman. Good to have you. Yeah. So I talked to lots of people who got way more than normal. I talked to some people who, you know, people who had some money in the bank, and they were on par. Maybe they didn't have to pay. Maybe they broke even, whereas last year they had to pay. In South Carolina, we had to pay not a lot because here it's really cheap, the income taxes. But apparently, the one big beautiful bill wasn't adopted here yet. And if you filed early, then you have to file an amended tax return. So we'll do that and maybe get a couple bucks back. But overall, everybody I spoke to, they were, nobody said, "Oh my God, I got, I didn't make any more money and I paid more." Nobody said that. The waitresses and waiters that the places that we go to regularly were very happy because when Obama was president, that whole tax on tip stuff that created a fiasco. I mean, it was just terrible. The wait staff was like splitting tips with now ownership because ownership had to buy programs to figure out the tip calculations, and it was really a nightmare for them. And so they got their tips got eaten up, and then they wound up splitting them with the whole restaurant. Yeah, it was bad. And now they were very, very happy. And I'm glad for that because they work hard. I was a waitress for a long time and a bartender and a cook. And then I owned my own restaurant. And it is not easy. So they deserve to keep their tips. Hello, Gary. Good to have you. No refund for me. My funds did too well. Well, yeah, that's true, right? I was a victim of my own success myself. Mom was a push, which was good last year. She had to pay, but this year she was a push, so that was good. Yeah, Gloria had to pay. Well, you're in New York too. New York is terrible. 2,400 return in Hawaii is not common, making $20 an hour. Right. Yeah, that makes sense. Right. And so this really hit the middle class that didn't have like a retirement fund or a nest egg or have, a home or, yeah, this was helpful to people who had a mortgage and car payments and no money in the bank. This was a good thing for them. And so to me, I mean, that achieved what the Democrats had been saying they wanted achieved all along, which is equality, I guess. Because look, we worked hard all our lives. I got deductions all the time when I had mortgages and kids in college and all that other stuff. Now I don't have that stuff because I'm retired. So I have a nest egg and like Angela says, my nest egg did really well because of Trump. And today, man, things were through the roof. Everything was going really well today. So those who were struggling got a little bit of the pressure taken off, and those who were feeling comfortable, status quo or a little bit. So I think that that's fine. I did well once Trump took over, and the past 3 days have been very nice. Yeah, I mean the stock market is really, yeah. You guys, anybody who's playing the stock market is doing well. I do badly in the stock market. If I buy a stock, it goes down. I bought Tesla and it went down. Go figure. It's coming up now. It's up now, but hi, Kevin Wall from the other side of the earth and the same side of the issues. Well, anyway, but the audacity of the Democrats to complain that the refund wasn't big enough. I don't understand them. I don't. I mean, I do understand them because they're desperate, so they'll say anything. I don't understand the people that believe them. Because I mean, really, you have to be brain dead to not see the hypocrisy with them. And speaking of brain dead Democrats, I'm going to share the screen because this is pretty good. Let's see. I think you're going to like this a lot. Oh, that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you this. Do you remember Boasberg? Appeals court again blocks Boasberg contempt probe into Alien Enemies Act deportation. Boasberg is the guy that seems to just always pull the Trump cases. And he's the one who insisted that, the Maryland dad be brought home from Venezuela. And then all of the people in the jails in Venezuela be brought back. So U.S. District Court Judge Boasberg's effort to investigate possible criminal contempt by Kristi Noem and other senior Trump administration officials in connection with deportation flights last year has been blocked for the second time by a bitterly divided appeals court panel. In a 2-1 ruling Tuesday, the D.C. Circuit Court of Appeals concluded that Boasberg, the chief federal district court judge in Washington, had overstepped his authority by continuing to pursue possible contempt charges against administration officials who signed off on deportations to El Salvador, despite the judge's effort to halt them. So, this is just crazy stuff because, you would think that this is a guy that thinks he was elected president. How do you have the goons to decide you're going to decide, not even Congress, you are going to decide immigration status? Now, as I recall, isn't it what Trump was elected to do, to get rid of the criminal, illegal migrants? And the Democrats seem to be stepping in the way of it over and over again, including in the form of Judge James Boasberg, who thinks that he somehow was elected president and that he has more power than the president. It's become unfortunate because, the Democrats are saying that what they're doing to save democracy. But what they're doing is undermining the Constitution. They try and blame us for undermining the Constitution. But in fact, it's them that is doing it. Because, this insanity that they've all seemed to have caught can easily be adopted by the Republicans if they ever come back into power, the Democrats. Because, civilized society operates because there's a set of rules and everybody kind of abides by them. They're protesting in the street the no king shit. These judges going after him on all different things, whether when he was president, the impeachments, which we're now saying were all hoaxes, based on hoaxes as well. What happened to him in New York with Tish James and also Alvin Bragg. Oh, Alvin Bragg, who, by the way, they've sicked Alvin Bragg on Swalwell now. They are hoping for Swalwell to do an Epstein. That's what they're hoping for. They want that guy gone. And we talked about it yesterday. I think he just knows too much. That's why everybody stood by his side until now. And, my husband and I were talking about the victims, and the fact that the FBI has traced it and found that that what she said, the victim, about losing a day of her life and having written it in her diary, that he actually spent a whole day in a hotel, he Swalwell, that day. They were able to trace that. Now, now they've got Alvin Bragg on it. Something, when the deep state wants you gone, they find a way to get you gone. And that's what it feels like with Swalwell. But that's what they were doing to Trump. And they were using every means possible. So it's crazy. And they better understand that we can do it to them. My VA disability and my Army pension and being a security officer lets us have some retirement relaxation here. Very expensive state of Hawaii. That's true. I mean, Hawaii is that like one of the most expensive states, or is it still California? But it's close, right? Grateful. I'm at $34 an hour. I was at 40 and some change at a couple of places. Industrial maintenance, 3-phase, 480 volts, conveyor sorters, and auto storage and retrieval system. Well, how did the one big beautiful bill work for you, Jeff? Yeah, isn't it Boozberg? Yeah, well, Boozbag, right? Well, it wasn't that Kamala's nickname. Oh, 5-finger death punch, bad song. Wash it all away. That's what we are doing. Clean out the swamp. Yeah, it's time. Yes, Swalwell best friend got caught in that picture with him and that girl. He was definitely was stumbling his words. Yeah. So at the end of the day, this whole thing with Boasberg, is just showing you to what extreme these Democrats will do. They're throwing a temper tantrum because they didn't win, and they couldn't cheat this time. And and I will stand by 100% my statement that they cheated in 2020. The election was certified and therefore it was valid, but they cheated to get there. And they're going to try and cheat again. They're trying to cheat right now. And we have to stop it. And as long as we could stop them from cheating, then I believe that you will see that this country is conservative. And I don't believe that this country is as flip-floppy as it's appearing it is, as the polls are showing it is. I just can't imagine it. I can't imagine that this country, after hiring Trump to get rid of illegal migrant criminals, are now siding with illegal migrant criminals who are killing people. I can't believe that. It just doesn't make any sense to me that what do we go through, temporary insanity? I mean, I know we're fickle, but that's kind of crazy. Absolutely crazy. And another asshole who is doing asinine things is Chuck Schumer. Yes, 100% truth. I hope so. I think so. I think that we already see what's going on, right? Gas is coming down. I don't know about you guys, but we're down about 40% here in South Carolina. We're still not under $3 yet, but we're getting close. We're at 332. I know it's in the blue states, it's higher, but I think that we're going to see it come down. Trump's strategy is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, what was it? Sun Tzu? I think he's going to go down as a modern day Sun Tzu or Alexander the Great, because his strategy, and we know it here, not everybody knows it, but we know it here, that his strategy is to get his enemies out of his backyard. He's choking China. Iran is just a mess. Now they're going to start executing people again, thinking that will make him stop. And that will be a bargaining chip. But I don't think that I don't think that he I think that if they execute somebody, the hammer's going to come faster. You know what I mean? I don't think they could say, all right, well, if you let our stuff through, we won't execute these people. I think he says he's going to say, no, if I told you already, if you start executing people, I'm going to blow you the fuck up. I think that's what we're going to see, because that's kind of how he operates. He knows how to negotiate with these guys, which is there is no negotiation with these guys. But his big deal is the strangulation of China and Russia. That's his big deal. That's what he needs done. He needs them out of South America. He needs Cuba to collapse. He wants freedom. And he wants a return to civilization, because Europe is showing that. I mean, did we talk about it yesterday, that numbskull, the French guy Macron, was holding a like a televised meeting of all the European nations to figure out how they were going to keep the Strait of Hormuz open without the United States. It's like, really? No thanks. We got this. You had the ability already to come and join us, but you didn't want to. So we got this. We don't need you. Yeah. My gamer and fitness buddy with his wife from the UK came to the US and spent 3 months traveling around on a minimum budget. They are doing paperwork to become a citizen. UK sucks. Yeah, UK is gone. It is gone. It's just Iranian extension. It's Iran light. It's crazy. What executing your own citizens is a war crime. It is a war crime. Everything that they're doing in Iran is a war crime. But somehow or another, Chuck Schumer and the other assholes think that they know better than the president, and that they in the Senate, the ones that teeter-totter back and forth, because he was one of the ones that were calling for Iran, saying that we had to stop Iran. Him, Biden, Obama, Clinton. I mean, they were all saying Iran must be stopped. Even booze bag Kamala Harris said Iran must be stopped. But suddenly, he thinks somehow that he's smarter than Donald Trump, and that what we're seeing play out, the win after win after win after win, he doesn't see that as a military strategy. So if you don't see that as a military strategy, my friend, then who the fuck are you? You don't understand combat. Yes, I saw China was building a highway on an island in the Caribbean. They're trying to build a base China in the Caribbean. They are. I mean, Greenland. Listen, Donald Trump didn't pull this shit out of his ass, and European and NATO knows it. NATO knows it. They're just too lazy to do anything about it. We're going to create a revolution. You're right. All right. Here's the old windbag, Chuck Schumer. I'm going to play it in its entirety because I want you all to be able to laugh today on tax day.
Republicans have voted against this resolution 3 times now. But as the war drags on for 47 days with no end in sight, they should join us today on this resolution to end this war once and for all. With gas costs costing over $4 a gallon, with inflation climbing, with mortgage rates going up, the American people literally cannot afford for Republicans to forego another opportunity to work with Democrats to end Trump's disastrous war at long last. Congress cannot simply sit on the sidelines while our brave service members are risking their lives on the front lines. The stakes are too high, the risks are too great for Republicans to stay silent. I urge my Republican colleagues to listen to the majority of Americans who are calling for an end to Trump's wanton war of choice. We still don't know the goals. We still don't know the costs. We still don't know the length of time. So many unanswered questions on the most important issue that this Senate can face, which is whether to go to war, and then total silence from the other side. Not a single hearing, not a single discussion. on this? Well, I'm going to tell my Republican colleagues they're not going to be able to escape continuing to vote on this. Until our Republican colleagues join us, we will continue forcing a vote on our war powers resolution week after week after week. This is an American issue, not a partisan one. This is one of the worst forays America has ever made, with so much damage that's going to be lasting.
Okay, let's just break it down. He says this war that's been dragging on, it's 37 days. The president can have a conflict for 90 days. Okay, so not just barely a third of the time has passed for before Congress has to step in and declare war. That's number one. Number two is gas is over $4 a gallon. Oh, really? Well, how much was it under Biden? I recall $7 a gallon. And that was because of the Green New scam. Had nothing to do with us protecting Americans from our enemies in our backyard, but because you guys wanted to make your friends rich with solar power and destroy the gas industry, right? And the oil industry. What else did he say? The majority of the Americans want this over. Well, the majority of the Americans want voter ID and the SAVE Act, but you don't give a shit about that. And then lastly, you're telling me, you old, wrinkled, weird person, that you are a better strategist for war than Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth and Kane? And you look at all the generals, Kellogg, all of them think that this is brilliant. All of them they understand it. They think it's brilliant. And oh, by the way, our guys and gals that are out there are excited as hell. As a matter of fact, I think that, what did they say that they have? The ships are in Texas, and they were on the news. The captain of one of the tanker, no, not tankers, aircraft carriers, were on the news, and they are raring to go. Absolutely raring to go. So, no, Senator Schumer, this is all an act for that 20% brain dead people who are so high and so stupid that they don't know what's going on. And it's unfortunate. Schumer has a pea brain. Oh, he sure does. And he wants us. He wants to be the one calling the shots when it comes to war. No thanks. NATO's a paper tiger. Trump is targeting them to protect their own interests. I'm tired of deployments. 11 I did. That's why I retired. Thank you for your service. And I trust you more than I trust Chuck Schumer or half of these Democrats who know not of what they speak. Short-term pain for long-term gain plus more. Exactly, Kevin. And we know it. And Americans know it. I mean, do they love it? No. Were they happy when the prices were coming down? Yes. But the prices will come down. They'll be happy again. They'll forget. The risk of not acting is far more dangerous than not acting. Yes, indeed, Jeff. Yes, indeed. Schumer, shut that dumb brain of yours upstairs. Oh, he's just, but if you play the side by sides, he contradicts himself so much, and he just gets away with it. When did the Congress think that the president needs to ask? They're okay. They do if it's like a real war. But up until 90 days, the president, if it's a conflict, and that's what this is, it's called a military action or an Iran conflict. It's not a war. They want to keep calling it a war so they can inject themselves, but they have nothing to do with it. The other thing they want to inject themselves in is the 25th Amendment. They seem to think that they have something to say about it, which they don't. It's the president's cabinet only that does. $6 right here in certain stations here in Hawaii. And that less or more than when Biden was doing the Green New scam? I'm interested. Schumer did so well in denouncing the war in the Ukraine. My question is, when He will be thrown out of office. Fucking idiot. He can't even barbecue a cheeseburger. Well, it seems like it's AOC who wants to replace him. I don't know. I think if we had a credible independent candidate in New York and California, maybe we could do some things. Speaking of California, one of the Republicans, Steve, I forget his last name, Hilton. I think it's Hilton. Is actually leading the pack in California. It's a big open primary, just like in Georgia. Where everybody runs together, and whoever the two top vote getters are, they run against each other, and it doesn't matter their party. And he's ahead. So yeah, pretty good stuff. So could it stick? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who Swalwell's votes go to. They're saying that crazy Katie Porter, who Colleen had mentioned before, might actually be the pick of the Swalwell people. But we'll see. I don't know. It's not a war. It's considered a conflict under military records, just like Vietnam. It is still considered a conflict under military records. Yeah, but didn't Vietnam lasted years, didn't it? I was a kid. I remember I wore the bracelet. They had the bracelets for all of the POWs, and then they started having them for just the guys that were there. It was very interesting. The deployed. AOC, another obnoxious cunt, what they commonly use in the UK and Australia. Yep, exactly. She certainly is that. All right, guys. I love you all, and I thank you for being with us tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. I hope you had a good tax day, and tomorrow let's start fresh. And those of you who got that refund, good for you. Love you all, and I will see you tomorrow. If you remember, I'm on Spotify, so it wouldn't hurt me if anybody is on Spotify and they want to go look for Let's Talk News and follow me on Spotify. You don't have to watch me on Spotify, but you can follow me there. You can't do the live on Spotify, but you can download some of the older shows. And Rumble, YouTube, subscribe, comment. It helps me out a lot. I think I need 160 more to get to that 1,000 person mark. So share it with your friends. Okay, love you all. Good night.